Coming up this week on Montclair News Lab. This month focuses on immigration. We talked to New Jersey Representative Mikey Sherrill and what she believes has to be done to solve the immigration crisis.
We need to continue to move forward. This country needs comprehensive immigration reform.
We then meet an immigrant author who advocates for the LGBTQ+ community.
We can't continue to hide. That's why some people have to speak up.
And later, we meet a Montclair State student. Her journey takes us from Russia to New Jersey.
And I just want to thank you for keeping me alive.
Those stories and more coming up now. From the School of Communication and Media at Montclair State University, this is Montclair News Lab. Later.
True.
You know how it works. Hello, and welcome to Montclair News Lab. From the School of Communication and Media, I'm James Coffey.
And I'm Melinda D. Pasquale. Each week, we scour campus, Montclair, and New Jersey to bring you news and stories we'll be talking about all week.
All this month here on Montclair News Lab, we're focusing on stories about immigration, the controversies, the people, and the solutions.
We start today with the second part of our exclusive conversation with Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill. News Lab reporter Louis Biondolillo talks with her about border security and how this country should treat its undocumented population.
Mikey Sherrill is a first-term representative in the U.S. House from New Jersey's 11th Congressional District. Before her, the district was represented by Republican Rodney Frelinghuysen, who voted the party line on immigration. One of her most important early votes was for the appropriations bill that reopened the government, paid for better improvements at the border, but did not fund Donald Trump's wall.
You know, I think Democrats and Republicans did work very hard and worked it out. We saw bipartisan, bicameral negotiations. We passed the appropriations bill with an overwhelming majority. I think the reason it was passed by so many people in both houses and on both sides of the aisle was because it really met the true needs of border security.
Like almost all Democrats, Sherrill is pro-DACA, which stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival. DACA allows some immigrants who were brought unlawfully to the country as children to receive a renewable 2-year period of safety from deportation. It's recently been under attack by President Trump.
I will immediately terminate President Obama's illegal executive order on immigration.
We need to continue to move forward. This country needs comprehensive immigration reform. That includes securing our borders, but it also includes making sure that we have a pathway to citizenship for DACA recipients, which we need to make sure that we're really addressing the real immigration needs of this country, and that's not only border security. That's border security in conjunction with comprehensive immigration reform.
As a former Navy helicopter pilot and former prosecutor, she thinks border security goes far beyond the actual borders.
If we want real border security, we have to address the needs at our ports. And we just saw that with the incredible amount of drugs that just came through Newark. I mean, we have got to address border security at our ports of entry. It's critical.
Though she's a freshman, only one among 435 members of the House, Politico magazine calls Sherrill the most important new member of Congress. For Montclair News Lab, I'm Louis Biondolillo.
Louis is here with us now. He's back from Washington. Louis, take us back to the start. How did you get this interview with Representative Sherrill?
So back before the midterm elections, I actually went to Mikey Sherrill's campaign trail.
Headquarters?
Yeah, her headquarters. And it was really an amazing experience to be there, especially as a freshman. And even before that, I got to meet her here at the School of Communication and Media, and we talked about different issues, and we kept up with her afterward. And eventually, after she won the election, we went to Washington, D.C. and got to interview her.
What was it like to be in Washington, D.C. with her?
Well, to be there, it's very hectic. She was running from meeting to interview to classified meeting to everything. Mm-hmm. It was fantastically insane. That's the way I'm going to put it. As soon as our interview was over, it had to be cut short. She had to run to a meeting, and we actually ran down with her. It was just an incredible experience.
Thank you, Louis.
While Democrat Sherrill is in the majority in the House, her fellow Democrat, Senator Bob Menendez, is in the minority in his chamber. News Lab reporter Amanda Eustace recently quizzed Menendez on immigration on a recent edition of our public affairs broadcast, Carpe Diem.
How do you think we need to control and balance both what the Democrats want and the Republicans want in terms of building this wall?
Well, we're very supportive of a serious border security, but serious border security, not a monument to President Trump. This includes increasing the number of Border Patrol agents, even though the Customs and Border Patrol is now the largest federal law enforcement entity combined of all the other federal law enforcement entities, FBI, Secret Service, Treasury. All of those pale in comparison by now the amount of the Customs and Border Protection, but we're willing to do more of that. We believe technology plays a critical role. We believe that drones and other efforts can identify those who are coming miles away before they ever get to a border. We have the thermal technology that can make sure that we can detect tunnels that are going underneath. And so there's a lot more that we can and are willing to do. But a multi-billion-dollar wall that won't solve the problem, but just check off the president's campaign promise, even though Mexico's not going to pay for it, is not one of them.
What do you hope to see within the future as we approach the 2020 elections? Where do you hope we stand on it? Secure borders, which are perfectly okay, but do we necessarily need this wall, or is this just an exaggeration?
I hope for 2020 we can get back to what we did in 2013. A bipartisan effort to make the nation more secure, to make the nation more prosperous, to live up to our history as a nation of immigrants, to unlock that talent, to deal with future flows of who gets to come to America and under what means, and how do we make sure that there isn't an underclass that depresses wages for everybody else. If you have people in the darkness and not in the light, then they can be exploited. When they get exploited, everybody else gets hurt. These are all the things that we did in a powerful way in 2013, with a rational conversation, with bipartisan support. It is my hope that, notwithstanding the president's vitriolic, rage against immigration in general, that other voices can come together in a similar approach as we head towards the 2020 elections.
That was Senator Menendez on the future of immigration and border control.
As a part of our Focus Immigration project, we are spotlighting the stories of immigrants and their journeys. Right now, we meet a Nigerian author and LGBTQ+ activist who escaped from one difficult situation only to find himself in another. This story is produced by Daniela Vega and Sam Carliner. Here's Sam.
Adufe Okporo is a Nigerian refugee living in the United States. In his home country, he was at risk of imprisonment, violence, and even death for being gay. Though safer in America, he was treated cruelly as an asylum seeker.
We can't continue to hide. That's why some people have to speak up. When I flee from Nigeria to the United States, I wanted to stop doing any form of advocacy because that was what made me lose my nationality. But when I arrived at the border seeking protection, they stripped me of my name and slammed me with a bed number. I was called bed 26. I can't stay quiet with all this injustice.
Okporo wrote a memoir titled Bed 26 about his experiences as a gay man in Nigeria and an asylum seeker in America. He spent a year touring for the book and advocating for acceptance of LGBTQ+ individuals and humane treatment of refugees.
And then I'm so excited I'm going to be going to the play, so I can't wait for that.
Bed 26 was adapted into a one-man show performed by Okporo throughout March 2019 to expand advocacy. Now living permanently in the United States, Okporo continues to work towards social change. Some of his work includes podcasting and running a shelter for other refugees.
If not for the support of thousands and hundreds of hours of volunteers who volunteer to non-profits, to rally, to protest, to come out and give a voice, there will be no change.
It's amazing how he's still working to fight for the LGBT community even during his struggle.
Our next immigration story hits closer to Montclair State. News Lab reporter Rebecca Eugene profiles the station manager of our radio station WMSC and her journey from Russia to New Jersey.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Анастасия Раилевна Karimova, и я из Екатеринбург. Hi, my name is Anastasia Karimova, or Kate Bronstein.
Kate is in her senior year at Montclair State University. She has been the station manager at WMSC for the last year. She's also adopted. Her Russian birth mother was very young.
She gave birth at 16, and I was adopted May 26th of 97.
Kate's journey started in Yekaterinburg, Russia.
Born in 1996. At the time, adoptions were open. It really depends on whether U.S.-Russia relations are good. That determines whether or not adoptions are open.
Relations between U.S. and Russia have often been at odds. Why did the people adopting Kate choose Russia? I spoke to her adoptive parents by FaceTime.
We both have some Russian heritage, and that I think played a good part of it. It just really just made sense to us to go to Russia.
Before U.S. adoptions from Russia ended in 2013, there was a process, but it was very tedious.
Paperwork exercise and a lot of unknown.
It took about a year.
A lot of anticipation and not knowing when the time would be. So, you get a call, you have to be there next week.
My little sister was adopted 7 years later. We went through the whole process again, and I would go with my dad to Kinko's, and we would copy all of these forms in Cyrillic.
Adoption symbolizes the bitterness of separating one family and the sweetness of helping bring together another, for which Kate's adoptive mother is grateful.
So all of our 3 children are from Russia, and I'm extremely grateful that they're part of our family. I can't imagine our family without them.
Tensions between Russia and the United States have been rising in the last few years, especially with charges that Russia interfered with the American presidential election in 2016, and Kate has felt the backlash herself.
I've had some teachers say that, Russia's the reason for this problem we have, or they're the reason this problem, and it's I've had teachers say before, everyone in that country is responsible, and if you're here, be embarrassed. I've had people say, they were the ones who, destroyed the election, and they're the ones who did this and who did that.
Kate has never had contact with her birth mother, but she has a message for her.
Thank you for going through that. Mom, thank you. Birth mommy, thank you. I don't know how you did that so young and why you did. You did not have to. And I just want to thank you for keeping me alive.
Like most immigrants, Kate is proud of her heritage, so proud that she taught herself Russian.
До свидания.
Kate shares something with many immigrants in America, prejudice against where they come from. But Kate is proud to be both Russian and American. From Montclair News Lab, I'm Rebecca Eugene.
Speaking of WMSC, the station has its big 52nd anniversary coming up. And here to tell us more is George Jamgoshian.
Hey, Melinda.
Hi, George. What is WMSC doing to prepare for this event?
So on the 52nd anniversary, we're having a 52-hour marathon, which is going to take place, first off, at 12 noon on April 15th with Javier Reyes' show, The Digital Dash. And then it's going to conclude on April 17th with a colloquium series with SiriusXM's Pete Dominic. And you can tune in on the iHeartRadio page or our website, WMSCradio.com, or on 90.3 FM.
What's going to be in between? You start off with Javier, you're ending with the colloquium. What's in the middle of all that?
Yeah, so we have a sports show going called Sports or Dumber, which hopefully we can get ready, and also some music shows, some talk shows, a lot of individual stuff that we're looking forward to.
Thank you so much, George.
Thank you.
Each week we end our show with the photo of the week. This week's photo comes from Professor Steve McCarthy. The photo was taken right here at Montclair State during our Focus Immigration Special.
It's such a good photo, bringing everybody together, and Kate and Shay did so good. Did you watch?
They did.
You watched. It was great.
Yeah. I'm so proud of them.
I'll answer for you. Follow us on social media, on Twitter at MSU News Lab, Instagram at Montclair News Lab, and on Facebook at Montclair News Lab.
You can also watch and catch up with us on our website, montclairnewslab.tv.
Thank you for joining us here at the Montclair News Lab. I'm James Coffey.
And I'm Melinda DePasquale.
even as you said, but